Good morning, everyone. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn, number 1020 in your teal hymnal, Wo Ya Ya. The lyrics are on the screen. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, so we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 oh yeah, 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 oh yeah, 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 oh yeah, 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 yeah. Please be seated.
Let there be joy in our coming together this morning.
Let there be truth heard in the words we speak and the songs we sing.
Let there be help and healing for our disharmony and despair.
Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us.
Let there be joy in our coming together.
As Elias lights our chalice this morning, may we be reminded of our highest aspirations, one of which is creating joyful, beloved community together. Thank you.
Welcome to the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, or ERUUF, as we like to say. My name is Simon Kaplan. I'm your worship associate today. And whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race, gender identities, or whomever you love, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey or in your search for truth, meaning, and liberation, you're welcome here in this beloved community. If you're visiting with us today, I invite you to rise in body or spirit so that we might give you an ERUUF welcome. Thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us. If you're watching on the live stream and have access to the chat, I invite you to put your name there and someone will welcome you online. If you're visiting with us and have children with you, they're welcome to participate in the religious exploration classes with our children. Simply follow the other families out of the sanctuary after the time for all ages, and one of our RE people will take care of you and your child, and you'll be able to return to the service. Also, everyone is invited to attend our Inquirers class for newcomers and visitors, which takes place directly after the service in the Commons room in the building next door. You'll get to learn about us and are welcome to share something about yourself as well. If you have a child in a RE, please be sure to pick them up before the class, and then you'll be told where they can go for childcare during Inquirers. They're also welcome to hang out in the class with you. Now would be a great time to turn off or down to worship mode, any device you may have. Let us now take a deep breath in and let it out.
As many of you know, we have a tradition of giving roses here at ERUUF. We give a rose without thorns when we dedicate our children to symbolize that they are entrusted into our collective care. We give a rose with thorns when we confidently send our graduating high school seniors on their way, indicating that we have prepared them for at least some of the sharp and difficult times that life may present to them. And we give a rose to new members when they join our congregation as a symbol of entering into covenant with them. And finally, when a member of our beloved community dies, we offer a rose in remembrance of who they were among us. And so it is with us today. This morning, we remember Daphne Rhodes, who died peacefully on Thursday, July 8th, at the age of 87 in Ashburn, Virginia, following a long journey with dementia. Daphne and her husband, Doug, were members of ERUUF for over 15 years and only departed the area to be close to family during Daphne's illness. She participated in the Eno River Singers, as well as serving the congregation in many other ways. At Daphne's request, no service will be held, but donations in her honor may be sent to the American Youth Foundation Camp Mini Wonka. Daphne is survived by her husband, 2 daughters, grandchildren, and many other family members. And I'm sure many of you hold your own personal memories of her spirit. We at ERUUF know that we are changed each time someone new joins us in beloved community, and we are always changed again when someone leaves, especially for the last time. And so this morning we have honored Daphne by lighting a candle in honor of the light that she has been in the world and here at ERUUF, and by floating the petals of a rose on water, symbolizing the waters of life. Let us join together for a moment of silence as we hold in our hearts Doug, their family, and all of you who loved Daphne. May each of you find comfort in the days and weeks to come. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
Okay, everyone will come down, the smallest and tallest and youngest and young at heart. All right. Today, we are going to share one of my very favorite stories, and it's called The Light She Feels Inside. Some days, Maya feels filled with light. Maya glows when she curls up between her mom and dad at night, and they ask her about her day. When she goes next door to borrow 2 eggs from Mrs. Wilson, 2 eggs, but Mrs. Wilson gives Maya 3 eggs, a piece of butterscotch, and a big hug as warm as the sun. When the community garden opens and Maya can pick the sweetest strawberries with John, her favorite cousin. You guys like strawberries? Ooh, me too. They taste good. They do. And when she passes Carrie singing on her way home from school, Maya feels like the glowing in her chest might lift her all the way off the ground. Every day she watches love dance in the people and places around her. What color is Maya glowing? Gold. That's right, Oliver. She's glowing gold. Sometimes, though, Maya feels a different type of glow. Maya feels a burning one when Brian pushes her down on the playground and doesn't apologize. That's right. It starts to get red, doesn't it? When she watches the police talk to John after he takes her to get ice cream. When she sees that the best climbing tree will be torn down so fancy apartments can be put there instead. Her glow is changing more and more, right? That's right. Yeah, that's a very good question, huh? Yeah. Like, what the heck, right? And when she overhears her mom and dad talk each month about the money they need but don't have, Maya feels very small, but the glowing anger inside her grows bigger. She isn't sure what to do with all this glowing inside her. All she knows is that it's starting to feel too heavy to carry. Red again, that's right. And very, very heavy. After school, Maya goes to the library. She used to go to Mrs. Scott's story time when she was younger. Now she watches from the back of the room. Mrs. Scott's honeyed voice and gentle eyes always made Maya feel better. When story time is over, Miss Scott comes over to say hello. Maya can feel tears starting to form as she describes everything she's been feeling. Yeah, it's blue and purple now. That's right. Sweetheart, Miss Scott says, that glowing, all of it, is your most important thing. Miss Scott brings her a stack of books. The women who came before you, your ancestors, found lots of ways to honor these same glowing feelings, she said. That's right. What do you think? Do you think that means her feelings are changing? Okay. Maya opens the first book and begins to read. She writes for the newspaper with Ida B. Wells, recording the injustice they see around them. Maya sings with Nina Simone about what freedom might feel like. She plants carrots with Fannie Lou Hamer to feed a whole neighborhood. I know. What do you think that means, Oliver? Happy? Yes, she's getting happy again, huh? She creates a poem with Gwendolyn Brooks about all the sights and sounds on her block. Helps Marsha P. Johnson fix up the Star House. And designs a new neighborhood with June Jordan. One that has parks, clean air, and a home for everyone who needs one. She learns from women who came together to imagine brighter futures, like the one Combahee River Collective, who marched on the street to speak up about the power in the multicolored lives of Black women. When Maya reads that they were inspired by a healthy love for ourselves, our sisters, and our community, she knows what that love is. She recognizes her glow. Now there's a lot of people with that glow, right? At the kitchen table that night, Maya asked, Can you tell me more about the people I come from? She hears about her grandmother, Annie, who made medicines out of plants for people who couldn't go to the doctor. And her great-grandmother, Rose, who taught adults how to read and write in her home at night. Later, Maya draws the women she learned about. She notices that her glowing doesn't feel like too much at all. In fact, it fits perfectly inside her, and it whispers to her to share it. The next day, Maya shows her friends her pictures and tells them that she knows about these women. And as she speaks, she notices her friends are starting to glow more brightly too. Glowing together, the friends ask each other the questions in their hearts. What makes you feel safe? How do we take care of one another? Why doesn't everyone have everything they need? Where should we start? Those are big questions, huh? Not only little kids ask those questions, sometimes big people, we ask those questions too. And so they sit together and imagine endless ways to lift up what they love about the world, and even more ways to change what they don't like. They look around at all the glowing women they know. Miss Scott, Mrs. Wilson, their teachers, the women who volunteer at the community garden, and they set out to find all the glowing women they don't know yet. Sometimes they feel happy, and sometimes they feel sad. And sometimes they feel tired because it seems like there's so much that needs to change about the world. But they know they do not glow alone. Right? These are some of the people that she learned about that glowed, and she drew their pictures. This is Ida B. Wells Barrett. She glowed for justice. And we have Fannie Lou Hamer. She carried her glow from the voting booths to the farms. Gwendolyn Brooks showed readers how the lives of Black people glowed. Nina Simone put her glow into songs that moved people. June Jordan imagined cities where everyone has the room and the resources to glow. Marsha P. Johnson made sure gay and trans youth felt her glow of love and care. And the Combahee River Collective used their glow to light up a path to a world where Black women could be free. They could be free to share a light, glowing with love, glowing with anger, and glowing for justice. All right. We're going to sing you out now.
Peace, salam, shalom. 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 Please turn and greet your neighbor, especially if your neighbor is someone you don't know yet.
My brother Lewis lives in Sydney, Australia, and my sister Rosie is a 1-hour flight away from there. The day after the US election, Lewis completely unexpectedly found his younger daughter, 35-year-old Olivia, dead in her bed. It later transpired that she had succumbed to a bad interaction of sleeping pills, alcohol, and medication for her mental health, with which she had been struggling mightily. She was a bright, adventurous spirit, the embodiment of yes. Rosie immediately flew to Sydney and gave her immense and capable emotional and practical support to my brother and sister-in-law and to Olivia's brother and sister, staying until after the memorial. My wife, Claudia, and I decided not to go to Australia for the service. If we saw my siblings frequently, we would have gone with no hesitation, but we hadn't seen my sister in more than 10 years, my brother in almost 3. He asked us to come later, when we wouldn't be lost in the crowd, and we could have some solid, dedicated time together. So, that's what we did, spending nearly 3 weeks with my brother and sister and their spouses in their homes in May and June. There was, of course, a lot of sadness during our trip as we grieved Olivia. At one point I told Lewis that when we were sad I was usually choosing to say nothing because any words of comfort felt completely inadequate. He replied with no trace of judgment or criticism, "Yes, they are." But he acknowledged, and I knew, that my loving presence was helpful. Mixed with the sadness, though, there was a lot of joy. Part of my role in my birth family is as the entertainer. I was concerned that my amusing reminiscing and jokes and levity might be inappropriate, but I realized that in them, Lewis was able to be distracted from his woe. Although I seldom see my siblings, my history with them is so rich and we are so connected by our love that even when times are tough, we can laugh together, which we did frequently and uproariously. I got rich pleasure from seeing Lewis laughing with abandon like he used to, in a manner we feared he would never be able again to access. But what if you aren't blessed with the good love of good siblings to help you? What you focus on expands. So, try making a list of things that give you pleasure and do them. If you love being in nature, go hiking or biking frequently. If you love reading, go to the library. Conversely, if the news is hard to deal with, consciously limit your media consumption. Maybe steer it toward a TED Talk or 10 on optimism. Angus Hervey has a realistic, positive perspective, well worth a look. Bury your nose in the flowers and smell the roses. Even though this country and this world are in a terrible mess, beauty is in us and all around us. Be open to joy. Seek it out. Appreciate it.
This morning we hold in our hearts great compassion for all beings who are experiencing sorrow and suffering at this time, both within our local communities and around the world. We especially send our energies and offer prayers for the well-being of those who are experiencing any form of trauma, violence, or devastation due to war, climate displacement, hunger, injury, illness, or the loss of loved ones. We pray also for the health of our planet that nurtures our lives. We hold in our hearts the families and loved ones of those lost in Texas. Pray for the emergency workers still searching through debris for survivors. We recognize the concerns of those in our ERUUF community, those affected by our recent flooding, and those who will mourn Daphne Rhodes' death. We also join with those who are experiencing joys and celebrations. We celebrate with Dan Grandstaff, who is recuperating from successful heart surgery on June 17th. Dan is grateful for the many expressions of care and healing he received from the ERUUF community. And Jennifer Staunton writes that she is grateful for all the people working to protect our civil rights, our democracy, in all big and small ways. In beloved community, we hold in our hearts all the unspoken concerns and joys that are among us. Let us hold all of these in a brief moment of silence. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
Please join me in singing our meditation hymn today, which is Filled with Loving Kindness, number 1031 in the teal hymnal, but the lyrics are also on the screen. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Back in April of this year, Senator Cory Booker made history. Remember that? For more than 25 hours, he held the floor of the Senate by delivering a coherent and powerful speech about the meaning of democracy and the ways in which he feels the current administration is destroying it. In a video recorded before he began, he explained that he had been hearing from all over his state and the nation about the need for Congress to do more, to recognize the urgency of this particular moment. He said, "We all have a responsibility to do something to cause, in John Lewis's words, good trouble." And that included himself. He said in his video, "Tonight I rise with the intention of getting into some good trouble because I believe sincerely that our country is in crisis. And I believe that not in a partisan sense, because so many of the people who have been reaching out to me are identifying themselves as Republicans." During his speech, Booker said, "These are not normal times in America, and they should not be treated as such." According to the Washington Post reporter Drew Harwell, Booker's speech was liked on TikTok over 400 million times. Some of you here this morning may argue that it's not appropriate to be talking about politics during a worship service. And I hear you. I was appalled this week to find out that the IRS now says that places of worship can keep their nonprofit status and endorse candidates. It's not a good idea, you folks. Those of you who have heard me preach over the years know that preaching about politics is not really my subject of choice, but I agree with Booker that we are living in unprecedented times. And for the past several months, I have been becoming increasingly anxious about the rapid-fire decisions being made by this administration, primarily because I believe in democratic systems. What happens also to be one of our basic Unitarian Universalist principles to support and promote democracy. And this administration is largely ignoring or strangling the other two branches of government. And so my anxiety is in large part nonpartisan and grounded in my belief in our democratic system. We are living in unprecedented times, as Booker claims. This is a new historical moment, and I believe we are being called to take action on behalf of our values that we have covenanted to uphold as Unitarian Universalists, on behalf of those who are impacted, but also on behalf of those values. We are being called to transform our faith into a more creative and courageous movement. And also, you can go back to some of the things I preached about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where I claimed the same thing. You can read sermons from some of our most famous Unitarian and Universalist ministers 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and hear them claim they are living in unprecedented times. The historical moments that Jesus, Muhammad, and the Buddha found themselves in were unprecedented times. The Hebrew prophets Very bad time. Everyone. A historical moment in which the times led them to consider what is being asked of us now as people of faith. What is being asked of us now as people of faith? This is a perennial, time-worn question that we cannot ignore. That question, my friends, it is what makes me so incredibly anxious. Just recently, I had a week where I attended 4 political meetings. I went to a precinct meeting for my party, a community organizing meeting, a action hour meeting, Friday action hour meeting with Reverend Lisa Garcia Sampson, and an indivisible meeting. And I have to tell you, by the end of that week, I was anxious. Now, all these meetings are a great way of getting information, figuring out how to take collaborative action, but by the end of the week, all I could think of was, what more can I do? Because obviously what I am currently doing is not enough to change the tide of what's going on. And that led me to a place where I was twitching emotionally. And as I paid attention to these feelings, I realized that this anxious, twitching response, this hand-wringing, is exactly what this administration wants from us. Because it leads to our inability to take thoughtful action. And in that place, a moment of synchronicity happened because I had lunch with a couple of friends of mine, one of which is a life coach and the other is a therapist. And they were talking about this new book by Martha Beck, a life coach, called Beyond Anxiety. And my ears perked up and I had to buy the book because I thought, somehow I need to get past this anxious feeling that I'm having. Beyond Anxiety. Beck begins her book by talking about the unbelievable level of anxiety we all felt during those lockdown months of the pandemic. You remember that? How that felt? Yeah. And she said that those months reminded us of something important. That the best way to ease anxiety is to ramp up our creative side. And that it is not a way of forgetting the things that we're anxious about, but rather a way of becoming less anxious so that we can take creative action. So people started knitting, baking sourdough bread, doing woodworking, not just because they were bored, but because it helped them all become less anxious. And there's a lot of scientific evidence that demonstrates that anxiety is left brain activity, and that it happens when our left brain comes up with logical reasons for our fears, but we're unable to do anything about it, and we can't control it, and we get locked in this anxious state, and we twitch, we stew in this left brain activity that has nowhere to go. We look for more statistics, more left brain activity, and that causes more stewing. When we enter into this kind of left brain spiral, Beck writes, the only way out of it is to engage in some sort of right brain activity, engaging our emotions, our senses, our inner artistic, creative intuitive hemisphere. Now, for the neuroscientists out there among you, I know this is an oversimplification of how the brain works. But in its simplicity that I'm offering this morning, I think there is some real wisdom. Our logical, analytical, verbal left brain and our sensing, perceiving, emotional right brain are designed to toggle back and forth, to have a real fluid movement back and forth between the two. But anxiety keeps us locked, shutting down our creativity. And folks, it is our creativity that is going to help us solve any big problems that we have now. Not statistics. We know the statistics. But how can we be creative to help solve the problems? As individuals, as a nation, as a species. You know, I think our right brain is also where our joy resides, right? What the pandemic reminded us of was that anxiety cannot be ended by thinking ourselves out of it logically, by logically trying to solve the problem, by doing more left brain activity. It has to be replaced. It has to be replaced with joyful moments, with hope and optimism, with love, with feelings that generate curiosity, wonder, connection, compassion. What brings that to your life? One of my favorite stories about Beck's book on anxiety is of a woman named Frida who came to one of Beck's workshops. Now, Frida has a really good reason to be anxious. Frida has clinical sensitivities that mean any moment she could have a fatal asthma attack. Her very survival rests in her trust of her service dog, Griffin. Griffin is a border collie who's been trained to sniff out any chemicals that Frida might be allergic to. And when he smells danger, Griffin will alert her, or if need be, drag her away from the offending substance. Well, during the workshop that Beck is leading, Frida is anxious because she's not sure of what's around her. But Beck is, she's noticing how calm Griffin, the service dog, is. And she goes up to talk to Frida after the workshop and mentions this, how well-disciplined Griffin is. And Frida says, yes, we only have one problem, and that is that he can't resist squirrels. He's always looking for them. And if he sees one, he'll chase it for hours. And then Frida said, you know, sometimes when he chases squirrels, I get this weird feeling that he thinks this is part of his job. He gives me that strange look, like he's trying to tell me something. And as I read this story, I thought, wow, I've been feeling like a service dog in the world devoid of squirrels. What if, even though there are clearly bad things going on in the world, what if I remembered that there are squirrels everywhere? What if my rising anxiety is simply a sign that I need some time off leash? Going off leash for me means intentionally toggling to my right brain for something. And I've started making a list of all the ways I love to go off leash. And I've recently committed to spending at least a little bit of time every day on a squirrel chasing activity. Because I recognize that this is the wellspring from which my activism is fed. And when I say activism, I mean that in its broadest sense, anyone who is activating their gifts and talents for something they believe in is an activist. The kind of good trouble John Lewis and Carrie Booker talked about requires the creativity of right brain thinking. Our right brain is the site of our compassion, curiosity, confidence, courage, calmness, clarity, and connectedness. 1,200 years ago, the Chinese poet Po Shui recounted in a poem how he became lost on horseback. With a sudden urgency and feeling anxious, he began prodding the horse to push on, to go here, to go there, and after a time, he exhausted himself and fell asleep. While dozing, his reins slackened. When he woke, he found that the horse had found a better way. Only while asleep would he loosen his grip and give up control, and the horse, which seemed to wait for this chance, carried him easily back home. When we are anxious, we can push and push, insisting that we know the way, even when we're lost. Sometimes it helps to slacken the reins, to go off leash, to find a balance between being and being of use. What would going off leash or slackening the reins look like for you? This morning, I wish for you that you can find and commit yourself to chasing some squirrels. Make a commitment to joy. May it be so.
As the choir's coming up, I would like to say a few words about the song that we are about to offer to you. The song is called Stardust, and in Stardust, the singers call for a home where we can run in memory of Ahmaud Arbery, a home where we can pray in memory of the victims of the Mother Emanuel shooting, a home where we can breathe in memory of George Floyd, and a home to sleep and dream without fear in memory of Breonna Taylor. In the song, you'll hear the phrase, Kumbuba Yali, Kumbuba Tambe. And the poet, Brittany Ray Crowell, explains that these are the magic words from Virginia Hamilton's The People Could Fly. There's no actual translation for it, although it has some similarities to some African dialects. The lack of translation may have been Hamilton's way of showing how most Africans lost access to their ability to fly due to being enslaved and removed from their culture.
Readers come forward to pass the collection pouches. You may place something in it, or we invite you to point your device toward the QR code on the screen, or use a QR code on one of the cards you find in the pew rack, which will take you directly to our online giving portal. And if you need assistance with any of this, you can receive help in the office directly after the service. Our summer choir will continue now with the offertory. We give thanks for the many gifts of this beloved community, especially the gift of belonging. And thank you to all of our musicians, our tech team, Simon, Elias, Lisa, everyone who has helped to make this beloved time together so special. And the choir will now lead us in our closing hymn.
Please rise in body or spirit to join us in singing There Is More Love Somewhere, hymn 95 in the gray hymnal. The lyrics are on the screen.
Guide our footsteps and hold us fast the best and most righteous that we seek. May the darkness around us nurture our dreams and give us rest so that we may give ourselves to the work of the world. Let us seek to remember the wholeness of our lives, the weaving of light and shadow in this great and astonishing dance in which we move. Go in peace, my friends.